Hello.
Hi.
Look at him adjusting that camera to make himself look amazingly well. This is Lee and this is Albert, and look at that hairline.
Hello. Oh, yeah.
You've
See
clung
that?
onto it. You've clung onto it,
Oh,
mate.
the hairdresser has closed in these times, so I could not shorten it.
Well, you could embrace what I do, mate, which is shave it all off and
Oh,
and
yeah.
grow a beard.
Maybe I will if that
Upside
gets
down head.
too wide. Yeah, right.
Folks, if you don't know who Albert is,
Hi.
he is from EmergencyWP. You can find out more over on emergencywp.net. And you can see that Albert has fully and thoroughly embraced the cartoonish / artistic design approach that seems to have taken the world by storm. In fact, I actually downloaded one of the images, mate, because I wanted to see if I could make it my desktop background. I really liked it. So before we carry on, folks, emergencywp.net, go and check out the imagery, if nothing else, on Albert's site. It's like a walking piece of art. So let us, for the people who don't know who you are, could you first of all tell us a little bit about yourself, your favorite color, your favorite drink, and that sort of thing, and then just give us a a tweet version of what Emergency WP is as well.
Yes, I will. Hi, I'm Albert. I'm from Germany, living next South Germany, next to Heidelberg, somewhere there. I don't know if you know this. And I'm a web developer since 2005. And 2006 was the year I started with WordPress. And yeah, I started right into the business, building websites and stuff, until I got to this point where I thought, hey, why not starting the product development and create plugins for my clients? And yeah, this is where I am right now, dealing with every kind of online media, from WordPress to social media and stuff for my clients, but as well for myself by developing things like these, like Emergency WP. Yeah.
And what's your favorite drink?
My favorite drink, I like my latte macchiato very much.
Yeah, I did see that. So is that machine, or have you done that yourself? What's the secret?
No, yeah, I have a one button machine, and that's all. Yeah, I need time for so many other things, you know?
It's okay. I went through my one button phase, but I can highly recommend now the AeroPress, which is phenomenal. And I'm actually drinking an AeroPress coffee right now.
Enjoy.
Right. So it's great to have you on. We've actually been having a few conversations about doing this for a while. So thank you for your patience with me as well, because as the whole world has been changing and I've been having to focus on my own event, taking it from physical to virtual, as you understand, I've been extremely busy. But that's one of the reasons why we're having this conversation, because unexpected things happen. Things that you don't plan for happen. So for example, tragic accidents where people died. That's a bit depressing, but equally, maybe you're trapped in hospital, or maybe you're trapped in another country and can't actually do the work that you need to be doing. And we know of several people, even in our own community right now, who are still trying to get home. So our thoughts and prayers are definitely with them. So could you explain to us the concept behind Emergency WP and how it can help people in a lot of these really unexpected and very much unplanned for circumstances?
Sure. So to have it in one sentence, Emergency WP knows when people have gone. So in the meaning of they died. That's something that you can use for preparing for yourself or for other people, so that you can plan processes if this case has happened. So yeah, it's something very unusual in the WordPress economy, to be honest. But it helps freelancers who handle a lot of client data, of passwords, account, but also want to help their family when something happens to them, to in a way get the business to a good shape or to a good end, and not stand there and have no idea how the husband did it all and where are all the passwords. And yeah, and it has an emotional aspect as well. So Emergency WP, after detecting that you're not here anymore, it can plan messages to your loved ones, to your employees, to any other people that you like or did not like so much that you and yes, it will send it right from your WordPress backend, that if you have prepared it. Yeah.
Wow. So, and how on earth did you come up with the idea? What created this idea? Because like you said, it's very, very unusual to have a plugin
Yeah.
that will recognize when you're no longer there, or presumably
Yeah.
has a panic button as well. I'm not sure if you've got that feature in there as well, if you need to, which will
Mhm.
then
I do.
trigger access to other people and allow them to take over the business. What was it that made you realize, A, this was a need, and B, WordPress was where it should be focused?
Yeah. So I was on a podcast from WP Builds last week, and I've told the story there as well. It was because of one of my friends died on a motorbike accident,
Mm,
and his older brother went to him in that very moment, and the younger one said, "Oh, I'm too young. I wanted to say so many things and do," and then it was over.
mm, mm,
And this was the moment when I thought, wow, that could happen to me as well. I'm driving to my work every day and not sure what happens. So I was married like 3 months ago, back in 2008. And I thought, will my wife get along with all these information I have and all the stuff? Will my clients get along with the password I have or I store for them right now
mm,
because they don't want to handle them? And I came to the conclusion, no, they won't. It will be a big mess in the end. So I started to prepare a system for myself that sent me an email each week to see if I just click on the button there. And if I do, it's all well, the counter is being reset and it will send me an email again. And if this happens through a continuous way, everything's fine. But then if it doesn't and I do not get back to it, and trustees that I have planned as well
mm-hmm.
will say, okay, Albert is gone, then all the processes will start. And I'd like to explain that later in a big,
That'd be
more
great. Thank
visible
you.
way. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's something that you just did internally, and then realized that this is probably something that you could put out there in the WordPress community. What made you choose WordPress specifically?
Yeah. So first, back in 2012, I created a prototype that was running on a normal install, and you could create an account there. But I realized very soon that people store very sensitive data there.
Mm,
And I wondered, do I want to have the responsibility over all this information? And I thought, like, no, it would be better if people could use that for their own, on their own web host, on their NAS, on their
mm,
NAS, or whatever. So that brought me to the idea, let's do it different, like some other players in this game, and give people a plugin that they can use themselves wherever they want and
mm.
not be bound to any third-party service. That's why
So
choose
rather than
WordPress.
the SaaS model where you are saying,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So you're still, I guess, though, with regards to things like security. If I was installing it on my site, I presume you're still advising people to thoroughly check their security, especially if they are
Right.
storing passwords
I do. Yeah.
in the system. Well, it would
So
be really cool if we could actually have a look through and
sure.
just show us kind of the concept of how it works and anything that you can show us. And
Yeah,
so, if you
sure.
don't mind sharing your screen, let's have a little nosy poke.
Let's see if that works how I expect it to. So I
I'm
guess
just
this.
imagining if somehow it accidentally thought I'd died and then sent loads of horrible emails to people I didn't like.
That won't happen. I'll tell you. I'll
Oh,
tell you why.
okay.
Yeah. So what I also wanted you to
I'm just
show.
waving at
So,
myself right now. I can see myself.
oh, I'm sorry. Let me
No, no,
pause
no, no.
sharing. Is that better now? No, stop
All right.
sharing.
So,
Like
you'll
this.
want to share your
So
screen.
yeah,
Oh, Karen.
I wanted to share my smartphone. You see that QR code?
Yeah.
It says scan in emergency cases below there.
Yeah.
And if something happens to me and they find my phone lying next to me, they
Yeah.
can just hover over with their own phone, and it will then create a message to my doctor, to my wife, and a third person. And only in this case it can be run from an external thing.
Well, that's
But
clever.
normally, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bit complicated. But let me start, and maybe we get it better then. So let's share again and go here. So
Nice.
I'm assuming you're seeing that.
Look at
So this
this.
is the emergency WP administration.
Mm-hmm.
You have a process flow that's containing now 4 steps, and that's the light version, I would say. The light version is a it's a way that you can use the system without any trustees. So you're just handling it on your own. You're relying on clicking on those emails that you will get and on the reminders as well. But there are no other people involved in your process if you go and use EmergencyWP in a light version. It's a cheap version. It starts with 19 euros per year right now, and it's affordable for everyone who wants to do this. And let me explain. So for the moment, if I clicked my confirmation link in the email that I get every week, the system is being reset to a status called all well.
Good.
After 7 days, that is, or in 6 days, that's the exact date that I will get my next live confirmation. It will get into the pending confirmation state, and it will wait for my confirmation click. And if it's okay, it jumps back. So that's the entire game. And if I forget it, I will get a reminder. And if I do not click on the reminder again, it will get to process finished, aka and it will release all my messages and processes that I have planned. So regarding those, you have here on the left side now contacts. And I can create contacts to whom I want to send information later. So you can create as many as you want, and you can assign messages to them. And that's the main meaning of EmergencyWP in this very cheap version, to send messages. So that's all. And then we have the way to activate add-ons that will add features to it that are very important in my point of view. For example, trustees. So trustees are people that have an eye on you, and that you trust with your life, for example, and hopefully they do not stay in the same car when you are there, because if something happens on the streets, such a trustee would not help.
Well, I can already think of one of my trustees. Shout out to Tristan, you're a legend. Carry on.
Okay, so I'm activating WP Pro now, and EmergencyWP Pro will extend, I'm showing it here in the settings, it will extend the live check frequency that you can select. In the cheap version, you have like 7 days and 24 hours, and here you can go up to 6 months. So it would not send too many emails to check. Then you have a time frame that you can select in which you want to give a confirmation that you're fine, right? So this is something for safety reasons. If you say, hey, I want to have more time to click on that button or whatever.
So let's say, for example, the live check comes in, but for whatever reason, my email server is down, or I have no access. I'm in another country and I'm trying to travel back to the country to get access, or whatever that might be. At least we're not going to accidentally message everyone passwords and this is what to do now, I'm dead.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so that is the main setting here, that you can extend them with the Pro add-on here. So then, of course, if you want to set it up on a fresh install of WordPress and not on your company page, you would ask yourself, okay, how does the cron job fire those emails if no one is visiting my page? Because that's needed. And that's why we have a cron management here. So you can select the normal WP cron, or you have a real cron and should activate it if there is no traffic on your website. Right, so it will work even in that case.
Good.
You have a confirmation log in the Pro version as well. Here you can see when your last confirmation took place, and see if
we're glad to hear that you're still alive.
Yeah, you should.
I am too, mate.
The emails. We have an email log to see which emails are or have been sent, to see that everything's in place and nothing has gone out accidentally. That's very important for some people. And of course, email templates. If you don't like the wording that I have chosen, you can change it here as well.
Yeah, and it must be quite hard as well to find the wording, because it is quite a
Yeah,
sensitive
right.
subject, isn't it?
Exactly.
So yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. Right.
Hmm.
So now comes the biggest change to the game. If I activate trustees, at the moment you see like 4 states that we have.
Yeah.
If I activate trustees, we get many more states, because now we have 3 more players in the game, in the emergency WP game. That means you now have, where you had here from the last call, you jumped right to process finished. You have to take care about the trustees that you have planned. Let me explain. If you activate the trustees add-on, you can invite up to 3 people of your trust that will help you to get feedback when you're not answering anymore. So if something happened, they will get an email being asked, hey, could you have an eye on Albert, because something's wrong here, and they can give feedback on my actual life status. And now we have a big so that's where it get a bit confusing. We have a big how should I say it? If one trustee says Albert is fine, but the other says, oh no, he's not fine, and the third one says, oh, I'm not sure how he is. How should I?
Yeah.
So we manage all of these cases in this plugin, and you can be sure that it works, because we have tried it now for 3 years. There was a beta started end of 2016, and we had like 400 users here, and they all said, yeah, it's working fine right now.
Just so you know as well, disclaimer, folks, nobody was harmed during the testing of this plugin.
Yeah, actually, Lee, actually, that's not true.
What?
Because we have lost one user. Yes, we did.
No. Or
it was 22-year-old guy right next to my city that I lived. He was using it in the beta status, and he had a motorbike accident as well. And he sent a very emotional letter to his father. So yeah, it was crazy, and that was the time where we had the most registerings for the beta.
That's powerful. I wasn't aware of that. I mean, obviously you didn't do that on purpose, but it's great to know that he was able to send that message to his father, age 22, when you're not thinking about something like that.
Right.
And yet he was able to. That's amazing.
I think he registered just for fun, right? But then it turned out, right.
Yeah. Wow.
So, okay. So this is the thing that helps to secure your installation even more, because it's not only relied on your own feedback for the service, but other people will help you to have your system as safe as possible. Okay, this thing. Then we have a delivery conditions add-on. That means if I activate it, you can now go to your messages and not let it be sent right away after EmergencyWP detects that you're not here anymore, but you can delay it after a given time, for example, like 14 days, for example. Or you can say, no, I want to have it on a fixed date, because that's the date when my son will get 18 or 21, whatever. And I want to present him a very nice email to his birthday, right? Or if I have a wedding day each year and I want to send something what can be done as a recurring email that will come each year. So this is the delivery conditions add-on.
So on this then, because the very obvious thing to me right now is if I pass, my domain and hosting is not going to stay forever. So I assume you're recommending to somebody that within the package, when you set this up, you should give instructions to your significant other / trustees on, please, can you keep this going beyond my death at least for a few years, because there are some nice things due to you all over the next few months and years. So, as long as it's on a cheap host or something like that, I guess, or not cheap, because that would be but you get what
that's what I recommend. Yes, to have a hosting that lasts like 5 years from today at least, right?
Yeah,
Or
recurring.
that so I have a Synology NAS here at my office, and there you can install WordPress as well, and you don't even need a hoster, so you can have it on this machine running, and as long as nobody pulls out the power, it will work. But you're right, you have to have a working WordPress install for a given amount of time.
Yeah. But there are, like you said, there are ways to do it. You could have a
There
local
are ways,
installation of a physical box, which your family just keep running and make sure you're backing it up and that. And you can do a video as well to say, hey guys, this is how to keep it updated and maintained. Here's the license code for emergency WP, if you can keep that active as well, I guess. Because how does that work actually? But maybe I'm getting a bit ahead. But how does the activation work? So if I was to, presumably I'm using emergency WP and I'm paying a yearly license for it. So that would also need to go into the instructions to keep it going. Or if I stop paying, does the system still work?
So at the moment, let me share with you the pricing in between. So that what we have right now, most people go for the lifetime package here.
Okay.
So they pay like one time and then they're safe forever.
Right.
But there are people who know that they will die because of a disease or whatever, and they can say, okay, I select the shorter period, it's cheaper, and as well we have a 50% yearly discount if you want to renew. So that's the pricing model. But if you are young and want to prepare, I would suggest to go with the lifetime bulletproof package here.
Cool.
Good.
Disclaimer, so, this will not make you bulletproof. Carry on.
Okay. So there is a Zapier connection that we actually developed.
Cool.
So that is funny because now you can integrate other tools. Like when I post a new Instagram post, it detects that I'm alive. So when I post a new photo to my status, this Zapier connection helps to get to call a URL. Let me show you. I just activate it. So, and then I have this setting here called Zapier, and I go and copy this live check URL to my Zapier account, and it will call the live check method here in EmergencyWP, and therefore reset this status to all well. And this happens all in the background, so you can use it without having emails that will remind you that you're.
Well, I'm on social media all the time, so they'll know I'm gone if if I stop posting. Can Zapier also? Can you also like trigger? Can you use Zapier to trigger SMS messages and stuff like that?
Yes, you can. You can use Zapier to trigger if you have a Facebook post, a page, a group, or something. You can after death. You can post messages there as well. So that's a bit, I know, it sounds a bit strange, but
a bit depressing, but we get
it. Right. So that's possible. So, but the biggest thing that that we have is the EmergencyWP Vault. So the EmergencyWP Vault is a 256-bit AES encryption to help store your information on your WordPress backend, so that not even your hosting provider can read it.
Okay, I'm glad you've told me this, because this was going to be the big question. Even if I'm self-hosting it, I am paranoid. MD5 is very easy to reverse engineer as far as I'm aware. So how are you doing this? Tell me more. That's the way. So we have this 256 AES encryption in place here. So that means if I create a new, like say my PayPal account, I will create this, select the category, for example, my bank. Now everything you place in this box will be encrypted. Nice.
So that works like I show you now. I say PayPal here. I can leave that empty because that's not needed. My address, test@paypal.com, for example, and some notes like my password, whatever.
So every single field in here is encrypted now.
Yes, right.
Cool. So it doesn't matter what I put in there. That's great.
I publish first. No, I need to assign a contact who should have access later on to this information, I publish first, and then I go to the right side where I have encryption, and I enable it.
Okay.
So, and then I set a password. Let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from now. And now it's important to know that this password will not be saved here anywhere, because if it would, it wouldn't be safe.
No,
so
it would give them the key.
You have to transmit or to send this password on another way, like a piece of paper somewhere to place, but it won't be saved here. So I save it now, and then we see all the information here is encrypted.
Perfect.
Right.
So at that point, so your test account holder, so test account 2, your Vault Access, will need to know somewhere that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 password to be able to then decrypt that.
So I can decrypt it, of course, like just putting in the password. I hope this was the one I used.
There you go. Look at that.
There you go. And I enable it again. So update it as well. And then if I go and type something else, of course, it won't open the safe for you.
Won't open the safe.
Yeah, now we have two options. You can send an invitation to the selected contacts right now, so that they know that there is something waiting for them. And you even can reveal the content right now. So that is for purpose if someone wants to have or needs to have the access right now, and not only after your passing. You can reveal the content right now, and they can see it. They will get an email. With this email, they can create an account on this site in the front end of WordPress. So it's actually very easy here. And then if the email address is the same like it is here, then they can have access with this encryption key to all this information. But only then, yeah.
And so you still send the encryption key separately to them as well, saying, all right, you're going to get invites to content. Please store this somewhere safe, et cetera, et cetera.
So for a beginner who haven't dealt with these cases before, that may sound a bit like, oh, wow, that's so many things to handle. But once you get used to it, it's actually very easy. Yeah.
It sounds like as well, it could double up as something that a company could use just internally to store their information and share it with team members.
Right, exactly. I went so far and talked to a guy who sells insurances, and he told me, hey, this would be great for clients of mine. So I'll be their trustee, and if something happens to them, I'll know, and I can help the family to solve all these issues around it. So I have an extra service that no other of my competition can offer. So that's a great thought to offer it as a B2B thing as well, right? So yeah, if
nice.
and if you want to offer this for someone else, you can go and set it up on their WordPress account. Yeah, so right, exactly. And then there is this last thing that we added, I think, a month ago. That is the external trigger. So not always I want to wait, like if I have my live friend frequency set up, for example, to 30 days. And now after the moment I saved it, something happens to me, and the next live check is being sent here and on the 23rd of April.
So it's a whole month,
but I'm dead by tomorrow, for example. Now the system would have to the system would have to wait for 30 days.
Yeah.
And that's where I brought the external trigger into place. So you can place, I have showed you earlier, this QR code in my wallet or on the back of my mobile phone. So if anyone finds me lying in a forest, whatever, bicycle accident.
It just got dark.
No. Yeah.
We get it. If anyone finds you.
Yeah, then they just can scan it, and it will jump over all this, asking the trustees to confirm. They will get back on me, listen if everything's fine, And if they say yes, something happens, then it will be released.
I was going to ask then, because the external trigger sounded great until I thought, what if someone just triggers it and all your stuff goes out? But what you're saying is it's going to jump the queue straight to trustees, and you've still then got this potential of, okay, there are now 3 trustees who need to all clarify that. Yes,
exactly.
Unfortunately, I was in the forest. What I was doing there, I don't know what.
Yeah.
But, you know, yes, now trigger the rest. I don't have a forest near here.
Okay. So so that's a very speedy roundup through EmergencyWP.
That's really cool.
I of course know that this is not something for everyone, right? But I heard this conversation in the WP Builds group on Facebook where someone asked, "What if I get hit by a bus accidentally?" And this was like a game changer for me. I could step in and explain how it works, and this is how it got attention as well. So it can happen. How do you prepare for it? That's
absolutely. So so, and we've had that conversation quite a few times as well in the Agency Trailblazer group. Ed Ellingham, for example, shared that one of his clients was asking what happens if you're not around. And he was saying, well, we have procedures in place to cover you. I have other staff members, etc. But it's really, really valid point. And to be able to say we actually have a fully automated system that will ensure that you will have access to your website or whatever it needs to be to the client, then that gives freelancers and contractors or small companies that extra edge. Even large companies can use this, obviously, like you said, but it gives you that extra edge to say, yes, in the worst case scenario, you won't lose your domain, you won't lose your website, you know, there will be people who will support the transition of moving you elsewhere, or my company will continue because all of my staff have everything they need to continue, and such will step up to take the mantle, and they will have access to everything, and everything will be as normal because we have this system in place. So that's awesome. So folks, you can check out more information over on emergencywp.net. Yes, it may seem a little bit depressing to talk about these things, but
even now,
especially now, I think, because we want positivity, but it's also absolutely valid. You know, I talk about how we have a responsibility. I say this a lot. We have a responsibility to our clients to be there, to support them, to run a profitable business where we can continue to support them through thick and thin. We also, therefore, I believe, have a responsibility to our clients and to our family to ensure that when we can't be there for whatever reason, that there are processes in place to help that to help smooth a very difficult time. When my dad passed, it was really, really difficult. You know, we didn't have any information. We didn't have passwords. We didn't have access to his tax records. We had nothing. And there was so much work involved, so many telephone calls, so many letters that we had to send and then sign to get evidence that we could then access. It was just a nightmare. So being able to access all of this sort of stuff would have been really, really helpful. I mean, my dad was a digital dinosaur. He wouldn't have had a clue of how to set this up, by the way. But, you know, in that circumstance, it would have been so helpful.
So that's the reason why I tend to not talk to the people who should actually use that, but to those who will benefit later from it. That's the hard. And it's a hard sell, to be honest, because people tend to think that they'll live forever, right? And that's actually something, I guess, the other part of the partnership should think about. Yeah.
Well, this is certainly something that me and Tim, so I've got the separate business, and this is something that me and Tim are looking into now. We've got things like insurances and all of that sort of stuff, like key man cover and everything. But what we haven't done is have something like this set up should the worst happen to one of us and send it out to relevant people. We've got spreadsheets and all that sort of stuff, but again, you know, it's going to be people digging around trying to find stuff. So if, you know, we'll be looking at this to just automate everything and make it a hell of a lot easier if one of us was to pass. So folks, you've heard it here first. EmergencyWP.net. Go and enjoy the artwork. Go and enjoy the low-cost version if you just want to go and have a little play around with it, or if you're wanting all the benefits of those extra features. This isn't an affiliate link. This is just something for you guys to go and check out and see if this helps you. The important thing, I think, from this product is that peace of mind, knowing that you've set everything up so that your loved ones are looked after, as well as your colleagues and everyone else in your business as well. So I would highly recommend go ahead and check this out. Also, Albert did a podcast as well with the guys over at WP Builds. I think it was episode 171. So go and check that out as well if you want more of Albert.
Lee, thank you for having me. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm glad to talk to you. And yeah.
Nice. So we can now do a fully COVID-friendly high five. There you go. And elbows and that has full scrap. Thank you, buddy. Take care, and we will speak to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hopefully.